Surprise! Oh, all right. Yeah, this wasn't something I was planning. Just so as you know. Uh, but my son and I started watching Stargirl on HBO Max. I've already seen, the first two seasons, and I'm watching along with the third and final season. Unfortunately, the final season. Uh, so I figured, my son and I are trying to find stuff to watch. We watched a lot of Disney stuff, but we haven't gotten to. We finding, um, my folks have had HBO Max, but it wasn't logged in down there. So we finally got logged in. So we're finally going through some stuff. We started watching Static Shock. He didn't seem like he was too into it. So I'm like, you know what? How about Stargirl? And yes, he is into it. We are enjoying it. And so we started and finished. There are only 13 episodes each season. Season 1 this past weekend. These will be spread apart, my son and I now, because he lives farther away. We only see each other every 2 weeks, every other week, I should say. So, season 1, uh, it's a little, it's different when you first watch it and when you go back and watch it. Now, I did start rewatching it when I bought the DVD, but I watched it one night when I was going to bed, so I fell asleep. So I never officially watched all the way through after buying it. So this is the first time I'm rewatching it through. So let's sit down and talk about it, cause yeah. I didn't give the basic plot crunch. I'll just do it now. And what I could assume is the year 2010. The JSA and the ISA, or the Justice Society of America and Injustice Society of America, battle, causing the deaths of most of the Justice Society of America. 10 years later, including Starman. 10 years later, Starman's sidekick, Stripesy, aka Pat Dugan, has moved to Blue Valley, Nebraska, with his family, his wife, his son, and his stepdaughter, Courtney. Courtney finds Starman's cosmic staff and becomes Stargirl, with little hesitation, and forms a new JSA to combat the original ISA, which is slowly revealed to be hidden within Blue Valley. Is that like the best plot crunch that I've done, period, on this channel? I think so. That was pretty good. But yeah, so right off the bat, this might be my take on it. I think Luke Wilson is the better of the two Wilsons. But he's the lesser known of the two, really. What is he known for? Idiocracy and being Casey Kelso on that 70s show. Then you got Owen Wilson, who's been in a lot of movies. He's known for the wow type, that thing. And, he's known more. He's done more stuff here and there. But I think I might actually said this in my super ex-girlfriend. My super ex-girlfriend, which he said, I think he is the better of the two, actually, because, I don't know, he has heart, I guess. And the character of Pat Dugan is a good character, too. And so, we start off the series with him. He's in his car, he's driving to help the ISA, and then we see his point of view as he goes in, and the JSA, excuse me, and the JSA and the ISA are facing each other, and we see the members laying out through and the ones that we get Johnny Thunder. These are the ones that we know were there and are confirmed later, like season 2 and stuff. So Johnny Thunder, the Green Lantern, I think, is there. Alan Scott, Green Lantern, is there, I think. We see green stuff, but I don't know if that's him or something else. I don't know. Ted Grant, Wildcat, Dr. Midnight, Hourman, although we know that Hourman survives, that's done for later, Starman, and the Sandman, Wesley Dodds, the Sandman. We see him laying there with his mask on. I don't know if we'll ever get to see him, but you see he's there. He's mentioned later, but yes, and we could tell which ISA members are there as well through their appearances and hints. So we know that it's Icicle, Brainwave, I'm gonna call him Crusher, Sportsmaster, Tigress. There we go. Am I missing? Tigress. We know Dragon King is somewhere. I don't know if he's there, but we know that Dragon King gets involved later. Solomon Grundy is there, and with the shadows that we see, we know that Shade is also there. So, yeah, and we see this whole opening scene where, he finds Starman. Starman gets hit with an icicle in the heart and drives him. He dies in his arms, basically. He's flying car, actually, but yeah. You never see it fly again, by the way. But, yeah. So then we cut 10 years later. Actually, we cut to that same time in California, where young Courtney Widmore is waiting for her dad to show up for Christmas. And he doesn't. And that connects this whole thing with her father. I'm going to say this right away, though. Both times I've watched all the way through this, it still bugs me. They do this. When the cosmic staff comes to Courtney, she automatically thinks that she's Star-Lord's daughter. Or Star-Lord. Starman's daughter. And despite the fact that Pat keeps telling her that Starman is not her father, she keeps saying that. She keeps telling everyone that. That's how she recruits the other ones. Oh, my father was Starman. And so, that's how she recruits Rick, I think. Is my father is Starman and your father was Hourman. And, stuff like that. It's like, no, you're not. And even when it's time to tell her mother, she's like, Dad was a superhero. And it's like, Pat's like, Court, just let me talk. When he goes to talk, she jumps in. That is superhero, and now I am. And it goes so far with this. It's like the third to last episode when they finally. It's the episode Shining Knight. It's either the third or fourth last episode, where they finally confirm, at least to Courtney. Everyone else who's watching this already knows she's not Starman's daughter. And I don't understand why they put that plot thread in there. If you're trying to, maybe they'll say, oh, maybe they changed the mythology. But those of us, and I hadn't read the comics for this at all, but even I knew that she wasn't his daughter. They show a picture in a locket, and it's all old and messed up. Kind of looks like Joel McHale, but it's not. Well, because there's a lot of times where you see old pictures of the JSA, and they're like paintings and stuff, like with Johnny Thunder and Flash and stuff like that. They're paintings because they hadn't hired the actor yet. Even the one with the ISA and you have the Shade, it's like big ass goggles on him and stuff. We can't really tell who he is because they hadn't hired actors yet. And especially with the Flash, they hadn't had John Wesley Shipp to come in and play the role, which we'll talk about that in season 2 because that's one of the most confusing things and an argument I've had with people in groups where like, it is the same. John Wesley Shipp says it's the same, but when I get to season 2, I will talk about that because it's not the same Flash, and I'll tell you why when we get to season 2. But yeah, so this whole thing with Courtney saying that Starman was her dad, it's annoying because you as a fan know it's not true, but she keeps pushing it through and she won't listen. And I know, stubborn teenager, I get it, but when everyone else keeps telling her no, even when Barbara finds out, that's her mom by the way, finds out about this superhero stuff, She even says, "Your dad is not Starman." But then even she starts to doubt. She looks at the picture of Starman that they have, and even the pictures of Starman that are in the papers are blurred, so it's hard to see a face. Could that be him? So she sends out an email to Sam Curtis, which is Courtney's real father, and that's like the episode Shining Knight. There's also this plot thread with this janitor named Justin that he's connected to some of this. He does hints like there's dragons in the water that leads us to Dragon King and stuff like that, and it's revealed that he's Justin, the Shining Knight, members of the 7, even though it's really 8, soldiers of justice or something like that. 7 soldiers of something like that. But they say that 7, but there's 8 of them. But yeah, and that also leads to how old is Pat? How old is Starman? Because there's like pictures. There's a picture they show in the first episode of it of a newspaper, and like Stripes, he's got his face because they didn't want to de-age him or anything, so it's like this, so you can't really see face. And Starman is like a kid in a costume, or Star Spangled Kid as it was back then. But like they're the 7 soldiers of victory. That looks like really old school. And I guess in the comics, there's like a time travel thing involved. I don't know if we ever get that far. I wish it was going on in 3 seasons because I would be, I don't know, want more information. And even though they said that they filmed 2 endings, I think is what they said, it's not going to feel conclusive. It's like when they said Flash season 6, Flash season 6, it's like, oh, the episode that we're ending on is a good ending, as a nice cliffhanger. There's a cliffhanger, but it was a cliffhanger that's supposed to come before a finale. And so it doesn't feel like a cliffhanger you would have for the next season. It's just one cliffhanger, as the season ender has separate, different, 2 or 3 different cliffhangers, like the one at the end of this does. So, yeah. Anyway, back to Stargirl. Yeah, and so then we get introduced to characters in Blue Valley when she goes to school and stuff. We see characters. There's Cindy Berman, who is a cheerleader, and automatically tries to bring Courtney in, and she has everyone's phone number automatically, which automatically has me scared. Then we got there's Henry King Jr., who is sort of Cindy's boyfriend. I know she has many pictures of them together, but I don't think they ever like dated. I don't know. I don't know. It's never explicitly said, I don't think. If I'm wrong, let me know. I don't know. And then there's Cameron Ma Kent, who is Icicle Jr. in the comics, and right now in season 3, without spoilers, he's going through a kind of origin story right now. So why it took 2 seasons to get to that when it should have been like 2nd season stuff, I don't know. When we get to season 2, that's when I'm gonna have a little bit of a problems, because that was a little bumpy season for me, at least, like the horror aspects. But, yeah. And then Pat also meets some new characters like Larry Kroc, aka Crusher, who right away I was like, that's Sportsmaster. Just the way he was acting and behaving. Hey, come on, you gotta build up your carbs, you gotta build up your, use your core. I'm like, that's Sportsmaster, it's gotta be. And then they show his wife later. I'm like, well, that's obviously Tigress. It's just her without the makeup thing on and stuff. And then when they introduce Jordan Ma Kent, which he's right away shown. But then you got Henry King Sr. He's introduced. I'm like, well, that's Brainwave. But he's got glasses on. So it's the Superman thing. He's got glasses on. Take him off. It's Brainwave. Oh, Dr. King, how are you? Did you see Brainwave here a minute ago? That kind of thing. I kept joking with it. Like, look, I'm Brainwave. Now I'm Henry King. Now I'm Brainwave. It's the Superman stuff. Literally. Like, it's the same kind of thing. And I thought about this. There are similarities to other superheroes. Like Starman and Stripesy. It's Batman and Robin, but also Batman and Alfred, because Stripesy was his family's driver. Hello? That's Batman and Robin, but also Batman and Alfred. It's got that double kind of thing. You know what I mean? And then Wildcat. No, not Wildcat. What was it? I forgot what it was. There's another JSA member that I was like, hey, that's sort of like. What was it? I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah, so then we're introduced to the new JSA that we're going to get to know. There's Rick Harris, as he's known as, but he's really Rick Tyler. Yolanda something or other, and Beth Chappell. I forgot her last name. Montez. Yolanda Montez. And Beth Chappell. And I'll tell you right now, when I first watched this, I still feel a little bit. Beth was a weak link to me. One, not only does she not have like a power set like the others, like Rick has the hourglass, he turns it, and he gets super strength for an hour. Yolanda has the steel claws or whatever, and also she climbs up walls, and she gets some training to fight and stuff. Beth's strengths lie in her brain and the goggles or Chuck, but she really doesn't have much. Like even on the poster here, she's got a finger like Chuck. You know, she doesn't have fighting skills, and even in the finale, it's she's doing stuff with a computer and kind of away from the action kind of stuff. So yeah, she's sort of the weak link, and she's an acquired taste because I felt Beth was. I mean, it's not said, but it's implied she might be on the spectrum, and she comes off as a little awkward and a little eager and a little like. In one episode, there's a part where it's kind of funny and it's kind of too much. Where in the episode where Courtney recruits Yolanda, she's training her and they're going into Henry King's hospital room because prior to this, he had a fight with Courtney. And excuse me, I just did a Skytrax video before this, which I'll probably upload tomorrow, but you're gonna get this uploaded tonight. So, they're climbing down the wall or down the thing, and Courtney just yells out to Yolanda, and Beth so happens to be visiting her mother that night, so she hears this, and so the next day she's following down the hall. She got earbuds in her ears, pretending to listen to music, and she's just walking right behind them. They don't turn around to see her there. She's just walking behind with the music, pretending to have music on, you know. She's not bobbing her head or anything. She's just looking there, you know. That was funny. Then she shows up at Courtney's house the next day, uninvited. Like, oh yeah, Beth, I'm a friend of Courtney's. And well, Courtney's not here, so she just stays in the house and then follows the dog. She finds the dog has the Dr. Midnight goggles. Puts them on and walks around the house looking at stuff. And yeah, and then later too, when he investigates Cindy's house, or Shiv, or Dragon King's daughter, she's just going up, and even though Pat says we gotta get out of here, you gotta go, she still just keeps looking, and yeah, or Pat, or if it's the two outside, Rick and Yolanda, but whatever. And so we get the backstory with some of these in some episodes. I think Beth also gets the weakest kind of backstory. She's just anxious, and she's always preparing meals, lunches for her parents, which is why I think, she's kind of on the spectrum a little bit. She's a little kind of, she has that sort of thing. And even later when she joins the GSA, she's involved in that. They're like, you didn't make lunch for us? Because they're so used to it, Rick was left with his uncle, and so we get a flashback with Rick's parents, Rex Tyler and his mother, his wife, Rick's mom, dad, whatever. And they leave him, with his uncle, which is his mom's husband. His mom's brother. Excuse me, that's even weirder. His mom's brother. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose. I know it's messing in here. Okay, it's his mom's brother. His last name is Harris, and they say he's asked to be Rick Harris now, not Rick Tyler. So why do they stay in Blue Valley though? Other than he has to, so that later Courtney can find him. But his job is to protect him and hide him. Why stay in Blue Valley if that's where the ISA knows where Rick? And even later, it's explained that Rex Tyler was trying to locate something going on, trying to figure out something going on in Blue Valley. Why would he want his son to stay there, where it's dangerous? Does he want his son to become Hourman? Who knows? And my son even brought this point up. How did they get the bodies off the corpses after, like, if the people died, did they just take the restrooms up the corpses? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I guess Stripesy could have done it. But, like, when it comes to Rex Tyler, his suit would have been in the headquarters already. But when it comes to Johnny Thunder and Wildcat and Sandman and stuff, it's Starman. Yeah, they all died on the battlefield. You know, so I don't know. Kind of weird. But, yeah. And Yolanda's backstory is, so yeah, he's left there with his uncle. His uncle is abusive. He's trying to rebuild the 66 Mustang, which is his dad's car. And, you know, his uncle sells the carburetor he needs. But then Pat comes along and gives him a new one, which I don't know. They never say, but I assume he sold that one too. I don't know. But maybe it was out in season 2 and I just forgot. Who knows? It's months later by season 2 starts, so I don't know. But, yeah. And Yolanda's backstory is that she was like class president and popular and all that stuff. She was dating Henry King Jr. And then one night he say, hey, send me a sexy picture. So she sends him a topless picture. And for those of you who say, hey, I bet you showed your son. In case you don't know, this was a teen show. This was not going to show anything to begin with. They do show her bra, and then she takes it down, and it's like to here, so they don't show anything. She sends a nudie picture, a topless picture to him, and of course it leaks all over the campus, all over the place, and it's disgrace. And her parents, her family, her mom, who is a complete and total bitch, and you should say is justified doing this, but she treats her way too bad for something that was way out of her control. She sent a picture to her boyfriend, and it got leaked. I get that. It's wrong. But she's like, you disgrace the family, Yolanda. You just, like, one point where she apologizes, and she says, I've apologized and apologized, and I'm done apologizing. I just want you to forgive me. She's like, no. You disgrace your family, Yolanda. Go to your room. I'm just like, she's pouring her heart and soul out, and you just, like, she wants to have a normal life, but her mom just won't allow her to. That's not good. I understand what she did was bad, but after a certain point of time, you have to let it go. Because even by season 3, she's like, Yolanda, like, she's impossible. Her mother is the worst character on the show, and she's not really on it that much, which I like, but it's just, okay? Like, Yolanda needs to have a normal life, and I understand what she did was bad, but you don't need to treat her like that. Alright? Even with season 2, she's like, my mom told me, put me in summer school so that she make sure I didn't get in trouble. I'm like, hey, that woman. And anyway, yeah, those are the backstories, basically. And Courtney thinks she's Starman's daughter. I don't know. And then there's Pat, who has built Stripe as sort of a robot but he wasn't planning on fighting crime, but he still bought the robot or made the robot. I don't know. It's very confusing. So the ISA's plan is eventually revealed that they want to build a better world. It's all about, like, I don't know, curing cancer. That's part of it because his wife died of cancer. And like, oh, that's another thing with Brainwave's uh, wife. When they're, they also have origins for the ISA's children, and Henry King Jr. is starting to get his powers, and they're like, okay, we could use Junior to power this machine. Oh, forget about the Gambler. The Gambler is also a member of the ISA team. Forgot about him. He's not on the covers. That's what confused me. But yeah. And they can use this to hypnotize developed minds, which adults. Control adults and make them do what they want them to do, basically, which is uphold a new constitution. It's actually a lot of stuff that you consider to be good, but then they add a bad thing in by saying if there's anyone that goes against it, they're gonna die right away. So now that makes it really bad. Like all the stuff these are the bad guys, right? They even say that are you sure we're on the right side or whatever like that? But yeah. Yeah. And of course we have the episode where the Shining episode where Courtney's father is revealed, and he's an ass, and he only came there to get the other locket because they're worth a lot of money, and rightfully so. Pat knocks him on his ass, punches him out, knocks him down, and that's when Courtney fully embraces him as her stepfather, her father figure, and that's great. And then they go to fight the ISA, and the machine clicks on. And I do like this, where they think, okay, we got a half hour to stop it. And I was like, oh no, you think I have a half hour to stop us? Click. No, it takes a half hour to finish what's going on. It's already started uploading to the people's minds at the 30-minute mark, and then they have a half hour before it finishes. So it's already started to take over. It takes over Barbara and Justin, Shining Knight, and Pat, who's in the striped suit, by the way, and right behind Courtney. Yeah. And yeah. But Henry King Jr., I don't understand his inclusion, really. It doesn't go anywhere. Like, you could say it's one of those, a redemption arc because of what happened with Yolanda. And even though they don't confirm it, it was Cindy that uploaded it. We see it. Beep. She didn't. So in my eyes, he just wanted a picture. Cindy found out about the picture because she's working for her father. Because what I figured out from this was that Henry and Yolanda were dating, but Cindy was sent by her father to make sure that Henry's powers surfaced. And so because of that, she had to make sure that Yolanda was out of the picture. So maybe she talked him into it, or he did it himself, wanted a night picture, and Cindy found out about it. Who knows? But it was pretty much Cindy's doing. We even see her push the thing on her phone, send the picture out to everyone. So, yeah, it's pretty much her. Yet she holds Henry personally responsible. So it's sort of a redemption arc, but he ends up dying because his own dad kills him, and that's after it's revealed that it wasn't Icicle, because he'd said it was Jordan. It was Icicle that killed Henry King's wife. He's like, no, I killed her. Basically because it was making him weak, I guess. I don't know. It's done for a twist effect. It's a twist that he did it, but like the description where she's left in freezing cold water, it's like her body is freezing cold. It's like it was supposed to be that Jordan did it, that Icicle did it, but then it's like no, it was it was Brainwave. I don't know. That was just done for a twist, I guess. But yeah. So the final battle comes along, and by this point, we have everyone. Our main good characters know. Okay, so we got Courtney, Yolanda, Rick, Beth, Pat, Justin, Barbara, and Mike, and the dog, all ready to go. And so everyone goes off to fight except for Mike, who his job is to watch the dog and eat Pop-Tarts because he loves Pop-Tarts. Cookies and cream, too. Until Yolanda destroys the toaster. Still Pop-Tarts. And, there's also a fiddler, too. Amaya Bowen. They talk somewhat about her husband. I think he was the late gambler, but yeah. And then Isaac Bowen, who is actually the gambler from the comics, is her son. So I don't know. That doesn't really go anywhere. Spoiler for season 2, that doesn't really go anywhere. They start like it's gonna go somewhere, and then it gets snuffed out. But anyway, so Rick, Yolanda, and Justin go one direction. Courtney and Pat go in the other direction in these tunnels to get to Dragon King's lair to try to stop this thing from going on. Barbara and Beth are at Icicle's American Foundation, New American Foundation, whatever it's called, trying to hack in to the gambler thing to try to stop from happening, using Chuck to do so. And and the gambler hacks them. So it's like, well, you think you can hack me? And that sort of thing. And but eventually they use his money to distract him and are able to get the hack and stop the brain thing from getting to Pat and to Justin down in the tunnels, because there's like a blocker. When Beth was down there earlier in the season, she was having troubles connecting to Chuck. So there's a blocker down there. She, able to hack the gambler and activate it so that Pat and Justin are free from the mind control. And Pat was like attacking Courtney, but now he's not. He was fighting against it, and if they didn't hack in and stop this thing, he was going to die. So, yeah, good for them. And we get the battle. And I'll also mention that at this point, Cindy and Courtney had a fight during a football game. The Stargirl and Shiv. And then there was another fight outside her house, which unlocked Henry's powers, sort of. I think it finished unlocking them. Henry Jr., I should say. And because of that, Dragon King has locked her up in one of the dungeon things. So at this point, though, they have a big fight between the ISA and New JSA together, And during this fight, Sydney is freed, but she kills her own father. Would you know? And Rick beats the hell out of Grundy, because we find out that that's what killed his parents, is Grundy, not a car accident. And then Brainwave is in the machine, and he's like, I have to go help the others. And so he puts it on a loop so it keeps going. I guess that works. But then Henry King Jr. shows up and is like, I survived and I've been hiding as one of these zombie dudes. But when he's like, so where are your friends? And he's like, they were Henry's friends too, and then it's revealed to be Brainwave. So she killed Brainwave. This is after she told Rick that killing is wrong, and then he doesn't kill Grundy later. So it's like conflicting going into season 2. And so then Icicle's plan has failed, so he goes to the American Foundation, he kidnaps Barbara, and destroys Chuck, the goggles, which are fixed right away at the beginning of season 2, but whatever. So now it's up to uh, Courtney, Stargirl, and Pat, Son's striped suit, to come in and save Barbara, which he does. He goes, I'm going to save my wife. Which they were on the outs after finding out. They were in the outs after Barbara found out about superhero stuff. And even when he went to the cabin to hide out, he's like, are we going to be okay? She's like, I don't know. And here, he's like, I'm here to save my wife. How? With our daughter. And Stargirl comes in and they fight. And the fight ends up with falling down onto the ground. She lands and he just flops, which is weird after what happens next. And he's like, and then boom, Mike drives right into him, smashes him into a million ice pieces, and kills him. I'll explain when we get to season 3, but kills him. And then, the day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff. No, thanks to the JSA, basically, and Mike and his dog. Pop-Tart Boy saved the day. And yeah, so then we get some wrap-ups. You know, they're sitting there and they're like, okay. Apparently, the news is calling it an earthquake. I don't know how they pulled that off, but fine. An earthquake made people just stand there for no reason. Fine. And we get some wrap-up with the others. Like, I should mention that Rick was looking through his father's journal, trying to figure out this equation that would lead them to a map or something, and it was the 66 Mustang that was the clue. But thanks to Janet Justin. Janet Justin is going to look for his steed, and I don't think we're ever going to see him again unless he's brought back for something at the end of season 3. I don't think we're going to see him again, so that sucks, but to each his own. And the JSA is the ISA is gone, but the Shade shows up. We see this guy sitting there with a top hat, and the smoke thing comes and it goes around the Shade. And also I've got to mention, there's also the Wizard. That's another ISA member, and it's so sad with the Wizard's family. Joey Zarek, his son, is killed by Icicle, and then the Wizard himself goes after Icicle, and he gets killed. And then the wife tries to get out of town, and she is killed. So the whole Wizard's family is. And it's weird because I thought the Wizard's wife died in season 2 for some reason. No, it's this one. It's this season. But yeah. Anyway, Cindy is digging through the Wizard's old stuff, and she finds a black diamond, which leads us to Eclipso for season 2. We're not done with the teases. We go to Christmas time, which is now exactly 10 years from the events of the ISA's JSA fight. And she gives Pat the present she was going to give to her real dad, which is a mug that says world's greatest dad, which, why were you going to give that to your dad to begin with? He was already a douche. But who knows? Gives it to Pat. And yeah, happy little thing. And then the staff comes to her and they fly around in the snow, by the way, and she's got a little short shorts on, and I don't know, and then she sits on top of the water tower, which could be freezing cold right now, and then Stripe gets up there, and then that's it. No, it cuts to California. Somebody walks out of a car, goes in, and asks for Pat Dugan. So he doesn't live here, he moved. Oh, you an old friend or something? You looking for him? I'm an old friend of his, and the camera pans to show Sylvester Pemberton, Starman, and my son. He's like, I'm like, because I hyped him up for it. I'm like, ready for this? Are you ready for this? And I'm around him, and he's like, he's alive? He's alive. Oh, and the end, and I told him, and we'll get on. He's like, well, how did he survive? What happened? Like, you'll get the answer to that in season 3. What? Yeah. But, yeah. And one thing that I liked, and I didn't think of this until I was watching it this time, beginning of the season, when Courtney and them are moving, they play Umbop by Hanson, but it's a slowed down acoustic version, right? And then the end credits of the season, they play the actual upbeat version, which I thought was real cool. At the beginning, it's sad. Courtney's sad. She's, her dad didn't show up. She's sad. She's moving away from her friend, which we never see again, by the way. And she moved to a new town, and it's a new start, and she feels terrible because, she doesn't want to move there. She wants to stay with her friends, that whole thing. And then by the end, she's really happy. She's got new friends. She's got a new life. She got a new stepdad. She's happy to be with her stepdad. Her whole family is together. She's a superhero. And we get the upbeat version of Bob. And I love that. This was a great first season of the show. And, I'm going to have ups and downs with season 2. I'm pretty sure because I've seen it before, of course. But this was a good season of the show. And one thing that I can see that goes through is that Rick's anger. It's, they even mentioned that unchecked, that the super strength can be bad. And we're seeing that in season 3. But it's good that it starts here. Rick's anger is a very angry person. Like when he gets a hold of that thing, what does he do? He crushes his uncle's car. Yeah, that's not good. We've seen Brightburn and what happens when someone like that gets power. And even Chronicle, to a point, someone like that gets power. That's even a better one, is Chronicle. Someone who's abused, someone who's treated wrong. When they get power like that, yeah, this is a great first season of the show, So, what are your thoughts on Stargirl Season 1? It's a long video. Leave a comment below, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.